Hey everyone, this is Zero Hero. We're gonna do something different this time. We're gonna play Rome 2 Total War with Macedon, and we're gonna go for several achievements. We're just going over the game settings here. It's gonna be in the legendary difficulty, and we're not gonna have any battle time limits. So the achievements we're gonna be going for, first one is this is Total War, which means we're gonna war every faction. We're gonna declare war on them in the first turn that we meet them. So starting out, we're gonna have a bunch of enemies already, including Sparta and Athena. The next one is of course to win a campaign in the legendary difficulty, which I've never done in Rome 2 Total War. I've played in the legendary difficulty, but I never pushed it all the way to the end. That is not to say that I'm some kind of expert in Rome 2 Total War at all. You'll see when I start fighting the battles what I mean. The next achievement is called Veni Vidi Vici, which means we gotta complete a campaign by winning every battle, fighting it manually, without losing at all. Now, Macedon is a really strong faction if you play the game by the intended rules, as in not trying to get all these achievements at once. However, when you go for This is Total War achievement, in the legendary difficulty, it becomes quite a doozy. Now here we're taking a look at the mercenaries and our income. We're going to have to hire mercenaries to be successful in this campaign. We're going through our units here and we're going to disband our navy because we don't need them and we actually need the money. Next we're going to take a look at our family members. We have quite a bit of influence, but we want to increase this because it's going to increase our tax rate, research rate, and everything. Our guy here is pretty good. And the first thing we're going to do is give the wife a promotion to get some more influence. Our other guy can't be promoted yet because he's too young. We're not going to marry or promote any of our opposition because eventually we want to have a civil war and get rid of these guys. In fact, if we can make them be as weak as possible over time, that's best for us. And this northern army here in Pulpudeva, yeah, we have one of our generals that is actually a member of the other party. We need our guy to start gaining experience so he can gain more gravitas over time. So we're going to substitute him. We're going to give him some pike retinues because that's enough to defend. Next, we would recruit some slingers here, but none of these factions are actually going to attack us in the first turn. So we got some time and we're going to save some money. What we do need is food, so we're going to go with the Temple of Poseidon. Next, we're going to get our spy, and we're going to send her to Larissa to take a look at the garrison. They haven't built anything yet, and they have quite a few units. Now, we could go to Apollonia, but that's not actually a good idea. We need to send them to Athena, because we have plans for them in short term. And we're going to steal their food. As you can see, they have quite a good garrison, and it's not going to be enough yet, but our spy will gain a level, and then we're going to start starving them out. Next, we're going to take a look at the technology. We need to get champions as quick as we can, so I think, and then dignitaries. So we're going to go for champions first, because it also gives us the ability to improve our barracks and get better units. Next year, we're going to move our army from Pella to the border with Larissa, and we're going to fortify them to provoke the enemy into attacking us. This will hopefully draw them out from the garrison, and then we can defeat the army in the field. We're also going to recruit a few units so we have them ready for the future. We're going to get 2 units of Larissa cavalry and 1 javelin man and a pikeman, a levy one. We want the cheap units for now because we need to conserve our money. Now, these units won't be ready when they attack us, but they will be ready for us next turn, so that's going to serve us pretty well. Now, before we end the turn here, we got to make sure that we're at war with everyone. Before we declare war on everyone, though, we're going to try to make some deals and get some money out of it. Our reputation doesn't really matter, because we're going to be at war with everyone all the time through the whole campaign, so we might as well go and get some money from the ones that we can, and then just make use of this to hire some more troops in the future. Okay, we're at war with everyone, so now it's time to end the turn. Sure enough, Epirus decided to attack. That's exactly what we wanted. We have about the same forces in our armies, except we have one pike and they don't. Here I'm going to take some time to take a look at their units and realize that we have 2 pikemen and they have 2 hoplites. So this is going to go really well for us. And also there's a bridge battle. We're going to bamboozle them and play around. Looking here in the beginning, we're at the ford crossing. We don't want to be there. We want to be at the bridge, especially because we have the pikes. We can control a very narrow passage and cause severe losses to them, taking advantage of this. Speed up a little bit here so everyone can get in position. Luckily their general is staying on the other side. Hopefully their other units will continue to come this way. I'm gonna hide the cavalry in the forest, so hopefully when their units are attacking our pikes, their missile units will be left vulnerable. We'll charge in with the cavalry and get rid of them really quickly. It looked like their javelin men were gonna cross back, but no, they're still coming our way. This is exactly what he wants, so let's go. So after waiting for a while and repositioning a little bit more, the enemy is here, so let's get on with this battle. I'm gonna reposition my javelin men on the other side so they can hit the unshielded side of their hoplites. And then I'm just gonna wait for them to get on the bridge so they're fully committed, and I'm gonna send my cavalry in to take care of their javelin men.
Javelin men! Hold position! Pike infantry, ready!
It looks like their general is coming our way, try to attack us in the back, so I'm gonna have to move the pike infantry to deal with that. Their javelin men got one volley in, and now they're running for their lives. It's too late for them. They're done.
Pike infantry, at your command. Orders understood. Macedonians, ready. At the double. Ready and waiting. At the double.
So let's reposition our javelin men here to deal with their general. They have royal cavalry. We need to get rid of them. They're gonna probably get a really solid charge into our pikemen, but we're gonna have to deal with that later.
Cut them down. Hold men. Companion cavalry.
Yeah, that's gonna sting.
Advance. Ready for orders. Foot companions. Force use. Commander. General. Attack, you sons
Ready and
of
waiting.
Ares. Force use. Ready. By your command.
Now we charge the back line of their hoplites with our cavalry, and that's gonna probably break them right now. There you go. One is broken. Now their actual hoplites are gonna break too. Shattered. These guys are wavering. They don't have a lot of time left. Their general is coming back around again. He's trying to get to our javelin men. We need to move our other pike here to sort of protect. But the good thing is, since they broke on the bridge, we can rearrange our pikemen. We can put the javelin men behind them and send the cavalry to run out the remainder of their broken javelin men. They did get another solid charge in there, so our levy pikemen are suffering, but it's gonna be okay. This battle is pretty much won.
Proud sons of Macedon. Double time. Commander. Stop.
Their general is wavering, and now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna run them all down and edit the video to take away all this part. I need this army to be completely destroyed, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. By the looks of it, we've managed to destroy most of their armies, perhaps not the general. We didn't have a way to chase them down, so some of them got away, and I don't think we got a message that the general was killed, so we'll see. Sure enough, the guy survived. We're gonna have to go after him again. We're gonna release the captives. Okay, it's a new turn and we gotta give our guy a new ability here. And we're gonna go with Cunning for now, so we can get more campaign mobility and then later army replenishment. Next, looking at the family here, we see that we have enough gravitas and we can actually entice someone from the Greek families using our wife. So that's what we're gonna do. He's now our general. We're also gonna promote him so we can start gaining more gravitas for us, and we'll see about a wife later. You see our government overview there that our influence is expanding and it's getting better over every turn. Okay, we're not just going to attack Larissa this turn. Instead, we're going to recruit some more units, because once we take it, we're going to have to defend it against an Athena and possibly a Sparta counterattack. I decided to go with the Levy Pikemen because they're cheaper to maintain, cheaper to recruit, and they're fairly decent at defending, which is what we need. And now in Pulpudiva we start to recruit slingers. You might be wondering why slingers. And skirmishers here is really the best option to deal with the Odrysian kingdom, because they tend to come in with a lot of Thracian skirmishers when they attack. And then in preparation here for the next turn, we're gonna replace our Basileus with another guy from our dynasty, but instead of having the pikemen, we're gonna recruit a companion cavalry. That unit of cavalry now puts us with 4, which is gonna be really good at dealing with the forces in Larissa. Alright, so it's the next turn, and now some forces from the Ardii have shown up near Pella. Before we do anything else, we're gonna go in here with select the Basileus and embezzle some funds so we can get 2,000. Now here is where my amateurism in this game starts to show up. I decide to hire another army general to help us in this battle, only to later realize that he cannot move and he cannot join into Pella. So yeah, he's just gonna sit there. At least he costs us nothing. The troops of the Ardii are garbage. We're gonna win this easy. The terrain is pretty flat and open, so this is going to be a good battle. We're going to separate our long distance units into one group and put this unit of pike that is damaged behind the lines. We don't want him to get any more damage. The goal is for him to recover at the end of the turn. So yeah, he's not going to join the fight. Cavalry are going to be in the flank, and we're going to use them to go straight at the enemy's most vulnerable units and reduce their numbers and take their morale down little by little.
Enough to buy a goblet of piss. However, we must kill them. Commander! At the double! Command up! Strategos! Orders! Karate! Riders advance! Quickly now! Men ready for orders! Take infantry at your command! Battle group awaiting orders!
Here we start to maneuver our troops to approach the enemy from the higher ground, so we have a little bit of an advantage in case we join into melee combat. You can actually see here how unsure I am about the commands of this game, so I'm taking my time and trying to remember things slowly as I go. Here I select the pikes and I tell them to go attack the melee units of the enemy while we're going to approach with the cavalry. My hopes is that it will push their skirmishers behind their line and will take them out with the cav. I start to move my skirmishers to their unshielded side so we can shoot with advantages from there, while our cavalry starts to position themselves behind their line. Here I tell one of my shock cav to actually go straight at their skirmishers in hopes that it will make them move back. It didn't quite work, but we're gonna try again. We need to make them get out of their blob. It's being protected pretty well right now. But it's alright. As long as the skirmishers are not stopped and shooting at us, we're okay. And there was no way to make them get behind the line unless we actually charged. So I let the companion cavalry go in there for a little bit, and now we're gonna pull them out. It don't seem like they lost any men, so that was pretty good. And since our front line has joined in melee against their front line, I'm gonna bring the general back to charge their rear. And with that, it finally frees the skirmishers from their other troops, and we can send the Larissa cavalry in to finish them off. One of them has already routed one of their lines. Now we're gonna go and take care of the rest. Look at those slingers, they got no chance. We divert another Larissa cavalry and send it actually into the back of their line again. The general pulls back, and we're gonna have a charge again. And the other cavalry that was maneuvering also comes back to rear charge their line. You can see how it's going pretty well for us. We took very little casualty so far. Their skirmishers have routed, and now we're just mopping them up. And our heavy cavalry arrives for another charge into their back line. That's their general though, so it's gonna take a little longer to go anywhere. Since it has more armor, we bring in the skirmishers to shoot at their unshielded side, or more from the front than anything, but it's doing its job. They're taking the army losses morale penalty now, so yeah, the battle is over. I'm just gonna mop them up and see you guys in a little bit. Decisive victory. Very good. We lost 107 men. They lost 788. They're totally wiped out. We got our mission completed, a little bonus from the treasury. And you see, it's really good that we didn't go forward with this army, instead left it here to kind of protect our border. We gained a new tradition there. We're gonna go with spear damage for now. And also a new level, which we'll put into strategist for this character. They built something else in Larissa, which we'll probably have to destroy later, but we're still gonna take this town anyway. Now there's that general that we didn't know what to do with. I'm probably just gonna disband it here to save on the intern amount of cash. Here I'm just quickly checking the units that Athens have, which is probably the ones that they're going to use to attack us next turn. And we're going to proceed to go fight the Battle of Larissa. Auto resolve is in our favor, but we have to fight it manually. And what I think I'm going to do for these battles that are pretty much very good in auto resolve is I'm going to skip them. I'm going to edit them out and just show you the end of the battle results so we can save time on the videos. If in the future you guys want to watch more of these battles, just let me know in the comments and then I'll keep them in. But I don't think we need to see this. They're trivial. And there we go. We won the battle with 7 losses. We killed 547 of them. And now the town is ours. We probably did a little better than auto resolve would have gone. So we occupy Larissa to maintain the public order. And then we see that they have another army just sitting there. It's their general that escaped us the last time. Here we can see that it has one slot ready to go. We just gotta open it up, but we're not gonna do it right now. And they built something else there that's kind of dumb, but it's gonna stay there for now. Next, we take a look at our spy here, and she has gained a level, which means now we can actually steal more food from Athena.
At your command.
Next, we buy the cavalry upgrade, so our cavalry can move a little bit faster. It's not much of an improvement, but it also doesn't cost anything. Now, we're going to have to end the turn here. Next turn, we're going to have to move ahead and attack Athena. It is quite possible that they're going to come and attack us during the end turn, so we're going to get another general with pikemen to increase our chances of defense. Now, another thing to consider here is that Sparta could also come and attack us soon, so we need to start recruiting some javelin men, because they have a lot of armor, and we're going to have to take them down quick if that happens. We have some money left, so we're going to take care of the construction here in Larissa. The first thing we do is open up the new slot, and then we could go with the farm, or with the martial fields, or muster field. And the reason for the muster field here is that it would provide a bigger garrison, and also later we can improve it into a skirmisher camp or something. We're also going to go ahead and demolish the other building, for the sole purpose of building a farm there next. We have some money left, so we're gonna get this guy married because we can also promote the wife and start to increase more and more our influence.
Ready for orders. At your command.
Alright, now before we end the turn here, we gotta make sure we're at war with everyone, and we are. Also, we need to start preparing these forces up here, and what we need is some militia hoplites. They're not the best units, but they're enough to hold the line while our missile troops do the damage. Let's go to the next turn. And just as we predicted, Athena came with all their forces. So now we're gonna have to deal with it. Our garrison is depleted, of course, but we have another general to help us out in this battle. Well, if they want some, come get some. So they're going to be attacking us with two forces. We can't see where their reinforcements are going to come from. I hope from behind.
Pikemen ready for orders. We await your command. Pikes.
We'll set up a couple wall of pikes here to receive their initial forces coming in, and then we'll use our cavalry to go around them.
Pikemen. Pikes. Commander.
The enemy does have some missile units, so we're going to use the depleted garrison to take the brunt of their attack first. Just long enough so we can get there with our cavalry.
Ready for orders. Grouped and awaiting orders. Grouped and ready. Javelin men.
We need to wait a little bit until their troops get in here, and ideally we want to draw them into the streets. And as you can see in the back there, that's our reinforcement coming in. That little flag, coming in from the worst possible spot.
Pike infantry ready.
At this point I'm wondering if the general is even going to make it to the battle. And sure enough, their troops are attacking our depleted garrison ones. That's what we needed, so their melee can get closer to the pikes. We can start moving away the cavalry and positioning them. We're going to use them to attack their missile troops, as always. So pikes are really good at defending against melee, but a little known fact is that it's hard-coded into the game that pike shields only block about 25% of the projectiles. So you really don't want to have your pikemen taking shots from missile units. If you're in a situation where you're defending against a lot of missile units, your best bet is to actually use hoplites. In the back there we can see their missile cav approaching from behind, which is the worst that could be happening right now. And here we're gonna move our other pike to get behind their troops and pincer them within that street. And the cavalry are given the order to attack their missile units. This will be over soon. Luckily for us, their missile cav went to the town center or sorta and just stopped there, so that was good. I'm briefly using the pikes here to run away their missile troops so they stop shooting. Just long enough to let the cavalry come closer. And now we're gonna go and move into the streets and start killing them from behind. Then we position our javelin men and we're gonna use them to shoot their general from the back.
At your service. Commander, engage! Your orders. Ready and waiting.
Their missile troops got absolutely destroyed in that initial charge. I'm gonna retreat that broken down unit of pikes because I don't want them to be completely wiped out. There's a chance we can still recover at the end of the turn. Javelins are doing quite a number on them there. And here we can see that the cavalry completely obliterated their missile troops. So that's 3 units completely gone for them right now. But we need to start getting back pretty quick because they have more missile units coming in the back there. I was a little bit slow to perceive it, so you're gonna see we're gonna take some damage because of those choices. Or maybe I should say lack of attention. Their troops are starting to waver there. That's really good. And I finally realized that their missile units were coming in and sent my cavalry over there to deal with them.
Attack, brave sons of Macedon!
Here I send in the skirmishers also to flank or to attack them from behind because I want to achieve troop superiority so they break faster.
This is a shameful display.
And their slingers and javelin men have seen us along with the Tarentan cavalry, so we need to go in with our cavalry right now and start doing them damage before their melee troops get here. But our cavalry seems to be doing a very poor job at navigating the town center, so we're taking some damage. Not only damage, but their missile troops managed to get away, so that's going to cause some issues.
The enemy general is dead.
Good, the bastard is done, and all their troops seem to have completely routed over there. At this point, we need to withdraw our cavalry, because their melee units are coming in, and we're also going to have to try to catch them from behind at another point. We're slowly going to start positioning our pikes there, and hopefully they'll be in place to receive the melee units pretty soon. We managed to rout 2 of their missile units, which is good, so the cavalry needs to get out of there. They're being shot, and their spears are very close. Our supporting general is still not here, but he's going to play a big role in this battle when he gets there finally, because he's a really, really good pike unit. And pretty soon all we're going to need is for some good melee unit to just hold the line while we can charge them in the back with our cavalry. This is where I sort of slacked, and I should have moved my units better, and by that I mean the cavalry, to flank and be ready to attack their missile units sooner. They are going to get quite a few volleys into our units, and we're going to sustain some damage there. There I finally start moving them. We have no chance of catching the Tarentine cavalry. I'm not worried about them. They're going to throw their javelins and stuff. But we need to start getting around, and unfortunately it's only through the long way that we can go, because they have spear units right there. So we'll have to go the long way around. I should have been doing this earlier, but we'll get there, and we'll get their missile troops. The AI seems to be quite clever and to do some intelligent things in Rome too, especially in the legendary difficulty. Well, I mean, as far as AIs go, right? They're protecting their missile units, and they're blocking the streets, so it's not that easy to flank their melee troops. But we're gonna have to work around it. We're gonna have to do our best. Our general is finally here, and he's pretty good. We're gonna send him down the street and just have him check some of those melee units there. Luckily for us, their missile troops start retreating in the incorrect direction, so hopefully we'll do quite a bit of damage to them before their spears can get to us. With the general approaching from behind there on the side street, they seem to have lost interest in checking our cavalry. So we have plenty of time to pin down their skirmishers and slowly kill them off. And it seems like the Tarentine cavalry used all their missiles, so they've came in melee. They're not going to last too long. Our general and the companion cavalry are essentially like cataphracts, so you know, they're not going to do very well. I mean, the Tarentine cavalry is not going to do very well against them. Unfortunately, one of the Larissa cavalry is really low in unit count. They suffered quite a bit of damage during the battle, so we're gonna start taking them out of the combat and hopefully keep them so they can recover. Here I realized another mistake. I didn't have the general in the phalanx formation, so yeah, they were not doing their best. Now they're gonna just cut through those units pretty quick. Even though it's piked hoplites, they're not gonna have a chance. They're not gonna stand a chance against that general, which is actual pikes. Here we need to take the companion cavalry out of it and start using them to rear charge some of their units. As you can see, their morale is starting to drop, so we need to accelerate that process and get them out of there. We just approached one, and they broke. We do need to keep our skirmishers, but at this point what we need the most is number superiority around their units so they rout faster. If you look up there, our supporting general is now holding 2 units on his own and probably cutting through them at a very rapid pace. Another unit routes, and we withdraw another one of our pikes, so hopefully they last. And no, they didn't. They just fled. The supporting general is doing really well. He has more kills than he has died or sustained damage, so he's gonna do fine. Here we're gonna reposition our javelin man behind their troops. And hopefully by charging them in the back, we're gonna get them to go away. Finally, the Tarentine cavalry is kind of like heavy enough. They're wavering. They'll be broken soon. And then shattered. There you go, pretty quick. And now they're starting to take army losses.
By your command.
The general is cracking on. He already killed 1/3 of the enemy general unit, and he's sustained very few losses. The Larissa cavalry there is too far away from our aura of influence, so we need to bring it back before it shatters.
What are you waiting? At the double! On my
Our men
Come on,
flee the
break it.
field of battle.
Break him.
This is a shameful
There we go. And finally, the rest of their units seem to have had enough. They don't have men left, and one shattered, the other shattered. It's over. I'm gonna quickly run them down, and then I'll catch you guys afterwards. And there we go. We probably didn't get all of them, but we got most of them. We need to wipe as much of this army as possible so that we can attack Athena pretty soon. Costly victory indeed. Seems like the first army was wiped out. The second one might have a few men left, but we are beat up. Our garrison got wiped out, of course, and unfortunately it seems like they were left with a lot of their units in the supporting army. We're gonna release the captives, get the money. Now that's a problem. And we're so beat up that these bastards came in here on forced march. They just don't care. There's no way we can ambush that army now and survive. But we're gonna have to try and push them off any way we can. So the first thing we're gonna do is take a look at getting some mercenaries. I think some cavalry, especially missile cav. And looking at what's in Athena, there's no way we're gonna attack them and take it this turn. We'd really have to deal with Sparta first. Great.
orders.
Lazy bastard! On a good note, it seems like our construction has finished on the Temple of Poseidon, and we can also soon start building the farm there.
We hunger for battle.
Our guy gained a level, so we're gonna give him some movement speed.
We hunger for
So now we need to organize our army so we can go fight the Spartans. There's no way we can let them be. These pikemen will take too long to recover, so we're just gonna merge them. It makes no sense to pay their upkeep for 6-7 turns when we can just buy or hire a new one for much less. Same thing for the cavalry there.
orders.
Sparta has quite a few periarchoi, but they have 2 Spartan pikes, which are, you know, well, they're regular pikes, but pikes are problematic. The other unit that's really tough to deal with Sparta is their general unit, the Royal Spartans. That unit cannot be in melee combat with any of our units at any point in time. We need to use missile to simply destroy them. And here we're going to hire back our Basileus, but we're going to give him companion cavalry.
Ready for battle.
He's not only fresh in terms of members of the army, but he also needs the experience. Luckily we can hire 4 Larissa cavalry. And here, instead of hiring the mercenary hoplite, only one of them, I decided to further merge our pike units and get rid of the badly damaged one. So we have room for 2 more units. And those 2 units are the Thurios spears. Now, they're not great in melee combat, but they got precursor javelins, which are going to be really good at dealing with heavy Spartan units. And now we can finally move forward and ambush them.
To battle!
Somehow we have a full garrison. You guys need to let me know if the number of cuts is excessive. I'm trying my best here to cut away all the excessive time that I spend looking at units and thinking about what I'm going to do during the battle. Just to give you an idea, recording this episode took 2.5 hours because I really like to be immersed in this game when I play. And that's one of the reasons why I also decided to do voiceover. When I play, I want to have fun. I don't want to be narrating every single thing that happens. The other reason is, of course, I'm not that good. So if I have one more thing to do, besides, you know, pay attention to what's going on, man, it just goes downhill. I start to mumble, my volume of my voice goes back, it goes up and down, I mean. Hell, even trying to do voiceover, I get confused sometimes.
We await your command.
So here I'm just experimenting with what position I'm going to put my army in. And you'll see that I'll quickly change this all up really soon. It is a pretty bad idea what I'm rehearsing here at first. And sure enough, a whole 3 minutes later, here I am, finally getting to the final position that I'm going to have my troops in. Which is pretty far from the Spartans, so I can have my missile units deal with them. I'm going to use the mercenary cavalry first to try and get their missile units destroyed. Because we're going to disband the Larissa cavalry, we're not going to keep it. So if they all die trying to do that, that's already good enough. Just getting rid of their missile units is going to make sure that our pikemen can survive quite a bit more.
Larissa cavalry! Companion cavalry!
We're going to use the general and our actual cavalry for a little bit in order to cause bigger disarray in their missile units. But we're not going to send them into battle just yet.
General!
Well, I lied.
Quickly now! Missile armed right.
Okay, we pulled them out. And now we need to get our cavalry out of there because their missile units are rearranging. We're not going to go into melee just yet. At least not with their spear units.
Sons of Macedon! General! Palatine cavalry! Engage! Your orders! Palatine cavalry! Forward!
They're in complete disarray, and that's exactly what we needed. All our cavalry is connecting with their missile units and wiping them out. There's 2 wavering right now.
Companion cavalry!
Now they're broken. Soon they'll be shattered. One is gone. The other is about to go soon.
Cavalry! Engage! General! Quickly now!
Let's move our reinforcing city army in and get our Tarentine cavalry out of there. I sent the other Tarentine cavalry to hide in the forest there because they get a little bit more resistance against missiles that are chucked at them. Some of the javelins and arrows and stones, they get lodged against the trees, you know, so they don't hit your troops. I'm letting the other 2 Tarentine cavalry go and sort of wipe out these units. Hopefully we'll get them fully destroyed, but there's no guarantee. I'm taking advantage that Sparta is being lazy here. They're reforming 20 times in a row because they don't know what to do. Meanwhile, I'm just running after their men and killing them all. If this goes as it usually goes, their melee unit will soon start to walk towards us, especially towards our general, and our Tarentine cavalry are going to be left alone behind there with their peltasts and their general unit. We do have some slingers which we can use to maybe shoot at their peltasts and get them moving. We barely lost anything in the Tarentine cavalry so far. They did a superb job. Now, I tried to play this scenario 20 different ways. Not this battle, but the campaign, you know, with the challenges. And it's really difficult. I tried like a more turtle type start, a more passive start, a more builder type start. And I'm always thinking about conserving money, making money, developing my cities. Well, that seems to be a mistake, because right about now it being much more of a bigger of a pickle, you know. I think the way to go about this is sort of like, what's his name? Sorry, I forget. How could I forget? It's actually Legend of Total War. He says, you gotta hit the AI in the balls. And I agree, this is actually true. Especially when you're running this sort of like this is Total War scenario where you're at war with everyone, every single turn, all the time. So what I did different this time is that I decided, okay, I'm not going to use the money so much to develop my provinces or settlements. Instead, I'm going to have to save some money, and I'm going to need to hire mercenary troops, because there's two things that need to happen. One, we need to take out Athena and Sparta as soon as possible. The first step of that was to weaken Epirus and takes Larissa, of course. While also destroying one of their armies, which we did. It was really good. That means it takes them a little bit longer to reorganize and try to attack us, right? Then we beat Athena, 2 armies, which means they're going to take at least 3 to 4 turns to recover. So if we can get past the Spartan army, we can go and capture their city and essentially end their faction. So that's one of the hardest enemies gone that is around us. Plus, we're also acquiring a new piece of land. Next is Sparta. And maybe they did us a favor bringing all their armies here, because we're going to crush this army, and it's going to take them a while to recover. They can recruit like maybe 4 or 5 units a turn, I'm not sure right now. Which means it's gonna be probably another 2 or 3 turns until they attack us again. So going back to the mercenary thing, we can't sit around and wait for our own troops to get recruited. We recruit what we get on a turn, and then after that, everything needs to be supplemented with mercenary troops. Mercenaries are expensive though, so ideally we want to use them in a turn and dismiss them before the end of the turn. Here the enemy was really dumb and left their perioikoi hoplite alone by themselves, and we're just sending in the pikes and the cavalry to sort them out. And if you look back there, sort of as predicted, their general unit is left by themselves, so the Larissa cavalry is going to move in and shoot their spears at them. Shoot their javelins.
Our general is under attack. Cavalry.
Well, the general is in combat. It's not under attack. So we're slowly going to start placing our units on higher ground here, because the Spartans are coming, and I don't think we can maneuver too much out of this situation right now. If you look in the back there, the Larissa cavalry is just pelting their general, and they're down, wow, almost 30 units already. So they lost about 25% of their general units, Royal Spartans, you know, that's really good. Then we set the slingers here to fire at their peltasts. You know, it's not great because peltasts do have shields, but at least it's something. We outranged them. Their general caught up to our Larissa, so we're gonna retreat a little bit and continue to shoot them. At the same time, we start to reposition our cavalry, and now we're gonna start to send them into back to rear charge. Rear charge the units that are coming into melee with our melee units.
Warriors of Macedon.
And our spear throwers are gonna start shooting from the unshielded side of their hoplite. Yeah, Sparta hoplites. Those are the ones we need to shoot. They have really good armor, and they basically don't break. So we gotta kill them. And we gotta kill them quick. Our pike unfortunately got caught in a very bad position, and there we go, we killed their general, so they're done. Well, the general is done. The rest of the army is still pretty much alive. Now we can bring the Larissa cavalry and use them to rear charge these units. You can see a lot of them are actually breaking, and it's probably the creatorchords units. They're sort of trash, sort of like our low-level hoplite, and wait, their peltas are coming in to attack us into melee, so we're gonna send the Larissa cavalry there. And if you can see it, their Spartan hoplites did quite the number on one of our pikes, you know. And we finally killed their unit, but look at the damage they did. We have 2 pikes in the red.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
So we're gonna pull them out of combat for now and start using more of our mercenaries to do the job. The Thurio spears have used all of their javelins, so we're gonna send them into combat to like charge at the flank or the rear of those creatorchords pikemen. And that was a big mistake I made. I didn't realize those were pikemen until it was too late. And that's actually 2 units of pikemen that did another number on our pikemen, right? Because the Spartan pikes are better. I finally fixed it and sent our missile units to actually throw their spears at their javelins and start killing their pikes. Pikes, you know, you gotta maneuver around them. You don't want to be in melee with them, especially not from the front. If we have mobility, ideally we should be shooting them and killing them from there. They're super slow. The AI doesn't maneuver them very well either. And there you go, one of them is wavering. Now this is dangerous to send the general in like this, but we actually do need to get rid of these hoplites as soon as we can to minimize our losses. So we're just gonna go do a big mosh pit on top of those Spartan hoplites, and there we go, we won. Alright, I'm gonna mop them up and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Close victory, my behind. We slaughtered them. They lost everything. We lost 25% of our forces. They're properly obliterated. That's what we needed. We're gonna have to go after their unit before they start raiding. It seems like we have enough movement to get to Athena with our main general, but here I'm thinking of sending our pike general to actually go take care of that. We have some money left, so we're gonna build the farms. And here we're gonna send just the 1 general to deal with it. That's a depleted unit. He can get the experience. I'm not gonna show you the combat because this is an easy auto-resolve, so I'll see you guys on the other side of it. There you go, easy peasy. Now, if you guys have watched so far, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. And here's where we're going to end this episode at almost an hour. In the next one, we're going to continue with the attack on Athena. Please feel free to go and leave your comments and let me know if there's something you'd like me to do different. After all, I'm publishing this video so people can get some entertainment out of it. I fully expect my ability to edit videos to get better. I haven't done it in a while and I just started doing it again. So hopefully the edits will get good and also the voiceover will get a little better. Thank you again and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers!